Hey everyone, good evening. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and tonight I'm being super quiet because the kids are sleeping. So I hope you guys are all being quiet in your houses too because people are probably sleeping. But anyways, new Book of Boba Fett came out. I saw it with my own peepers. You guys saw it with your peepers, and Johnny joined. Oh shit, Johnny's here. Look at Johnny. Johnny saw it with his peepers.
Boys, what up?
Hey, how's it going, Johnny?
Do not give me that face right now. I'm all in on Boba Fett.
Yeah, you have a boba buzz.
What is that face?
Johnny, your volume's a little low. Just letting you know. You gotta come up and back.
Hey, that's not me. That's Jason.
What? Okay, well now you're turned all the way up. Meg,
can you hear me? Am I low?
Oh yeah.
Max, I'm only going to tell you once. Quiet down. You quiet
Max
down.
Marty beside us. You know, the amp.
Okay, how about now? Is that good?
Better.
No. All right.
Is that
Yeah.
better?
He's just Canadian. That's the way he sounds.
Yeah. Meg
thinking it.
had
You didn't
those
say it, but you were
hut tails. Meg had the hut tails. Gonna throw it out there, guys. All right, so yeah, well, you know what, Johnny, since I think you were one of the Debbie Downers last week who Rob took it on the chin
my
for.
volume good or not? Somebody tell me.
Yeah, dude, you sound fucking beautiful, man.
All right. Yeah, I love this episode. I'm all in. I'm still in on that. I'm not a fan of like the back of tank being a storytelling mechanic, and I still think that all the flashback scenes should have been an hour-long episode 1. Other than that, I think this is a good pick up and pace. I like the world building here. I like the Ithorians. Listen, I dealt with those guys recently in KOTOR 2, and they are major assholes, and they are slimy. I knew they weren't just all about global warming. Trust me. And I'm I'm ready to see what the Pikes have to do with Crimson Dawn. Maybe Meg was right. And honestly, Meg, I'm gonna be honest. I can see Mace Windu running around in a raggy ass Jedi tunic on top of that train with Boba Fett. I'll tell you right now.
What if the chief takes his mask off at the end?
Stop whispering.
And he's Mace Windu.
Jesus, it's the opposite of ASMR. It's like an ASMR lizard got in my fucking ear.
Really?
Sort of talk, dude. You're like, the levels on this are a little weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
So am I still loud or?
Yeah, you're fine. You sound
Perfect.
good.
I'm okay.
We're fine. We're all.
Yeah, am I being
we'll all
am
deal.
I too quiet, James? I think you're the one that I can trust right now.
You know what? We discovered something.
Is my volume good, James?
Yeah, we
I
don't
can
give a
hear
fuck
you.
anymore. Volume's volume
Yeah.
now. We're just
Yeah.
whatever it
We're
is
good.
what it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Me and Johnny
so-
got to watch it together.
Yeah, but what did you think, Max? You liked the first one. You liked the second one too?
No, I fucking love this one. Like,
Yeah.
it was so awesome. Yeah. As soon as, I loved everything about it. The only thing that we, Johnny and I were talking about is that it would have been cool if they had kept like all of the flashbacks just like in one episode, so it could just go together. It was a little odd from in the beginning when they show, after the huts and stuff like that, and then he goes to the back to tank and then to dream a dream, and that was
It's like the Star Wars equivalent of a toilet. Boba's just dumping constantly.
No, Bespin, that lizard eats a part of your brain, and then all the Tuskens are actually like cognitively like.
That was a little
You
weird.
get 50% more knowledge with the Geico lizard in your brain.
Yeah, he's a little like Mike Tyson with those frogs. But we'll get to it.
I'll give you
We'll-
50% more knowledge.
Yeah, we'll end up getting to it. I didn't take as many screenshots as I did last week because it's like
Oh, you're slacking, buddy.
because it's like it's all the same shit. It's like a bunch of like Tusken Raiders hanging around a camp. Like, hey, you ever put a frog up your nose? Kind of stuff. So I took the important one. So we'll get to all of it though. Yeah, but let me, Chris, what how about you, man? Were you more into this one?
I thought the episode length was perfect episode length. I love the first 10-15 minutes in present time, but the flashbacks, it doesn't do it for me. But present time with the huts and the Black Wookiee, I love that. And I thought we are going to go back to it, but just the whole episode, the last 40 minutes, all flashback, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but yeah, bring me present day any day of the week. I'm loving it.
And before I forget, Meg, do you remember on Star Wars Santa show when I came on there and talked about that Wookiee? When I saw that guy though, he didn't have all the gear on. When he has the gear on, it's way more obvious who he is. When I saw him, there was no gear on him.
Yeah, hashtag Jason was right about the Black Wookiee.
I got the Black Wookiee word. That was one of the. I didn't do that much on this one though. So, but sorry, Chris, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to before Meg left. I wanted to gloat at her face because she gloated at my face. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
That's my initial reaction. Perfect episode length. And I'm loving the present day stuff. The flashbacks. Yeah.
How about you, James? Same.
Obviously, way better than the first episode. I gotta wonder. I would love to have been in that editing suite when they were putting these two episodes together, because I don't understand why they made the editorial decisions they did to end episode 1 where they did, given that there's plenty of breaking points that would lend themselves to a better episode 1 in the first half of this episode 2, which was way longer. So yeah, it's very confusing as to why they did that. I don't understand that. And also I am having a problem, and I know you talk about this. We shouldn't evaluate what we wanted to get or what we could have gotten versus what we actually got. They're obviously doing the Star Wars Dances with Wolves, which is fine. That's great. But what I don't understand is they're basically going to basically fundamentally transform this pre-existing character, who I see Boba Fett as a villain, and they're trying to make him this kind of like, well, it's a little bit more shades of gray, which I mean, I like that shades of gray with Boba Fett, in that you don't know if he's going to help you or kill you. But this seems to be that he's all of a sudden like had this epiphany out in the desert. He's going to come out and be like, I'm ruled with respect now, and I'm a changed man. And it's like, why? They could have done that with a different character. Why change Boba Fett into something different all of a sudden? And plus, they don't really set up in the beginning. If you're going to do the transform thing, they didn't set that up in the first episode, where it's saying, okay, this is who Boba Fett is now. So then at the end of the season, you say, and this is who he is after this experience. You just get changed Boba Fett from episode 1, more or less. They didn't really set up who he was prior to this.
I guess the question I have though, I mean, what you're saying is completely legitimate, but do we really, even in terms of on-screen stuff, do we even have the other thing really set that he was a piece of shit? I mean, it's kind of like he's a little boy. His dad gets his head cut off. He goes to kid prison, or he goes to adult prison, and so it's like in a certain way, like their marketing of the character is actually ruining or going against the writing of the character.
If you're steeped in the lore enough, if you watch like the Clone Wars, and you know all the backstory that they gave to Boba Fett from there, they obviously set up more of a personality for him there. But if you were to just watch this show, you have no idea who this guy is. And then it's like, oh, we're gonna like have him go through the experience and change who he is. But it's like, I didn't know who he was to begin with. If I'm just going into episode 1 with no preconceived notions. So it seems kind of, I mean, are they just making this just for the fans? And then just it looks like they're just assuming that you're following along with everything that's gone on. And I know, like Rob said, like, well, I haven't watched Clone Wars. He's probably like, well, what the, or most of it.
Well, dragging me into
so like someone like
no
that,
one said James is an a-hole last week, all right? Like,
well, the show's early.
No.
We got time.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't watched those episodes of the Clone Wars with the younger Boba Fett and kind of know what he's experienced early on in his life, you're not really set up a change unless you know what the character started out as. So it seems, I don't know, it's like weird editing choices to me. So that's the only thing I'm questioning. I love the episode. I mean, it was like, where was all this shit in the first episode? But yeah, there's some things that I'm just confused about.
Yeah, it's a really big opening when you put them both together.
Yeah,
Rob, were you a happy a-hole or a happy b-hole?
I just got
happy
two
cunt.
words for you. 2 words
Whoa.
for you. Sam Hargrave. MVP!
Yeah.
MVP! MVP! If you don't know who Sam Hargrave is, perhaps you're familiar with the stunt work for Infinity War Endgame.
Mhm.
Because this dude did
Nerd.
all the second unit directing and all the action on this. And might I say, this shit was fucking awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even like being hyperbolic. Like I clapped at the end of the train sequence. I literally clapped. I'm like,
You
that
really
is a
don't-
sequence.
You really don't want the commenters being mean to you this week. I
Huh?
could see
no,
it.
man, the
could hear your voice.
conductor, the conductor was the best droid I've seen added to Star Wars since the OT. That fucking dude was psycho when he bounces out and crawls into a crab leg and just takes off.
The
The
straight out of Solo.
conductor.
Straight out of
Yeah,
Solo.
Yeah, and them huts.
That's killer.
They got the huts
shit.
down, dude. The
Mhm.
eyes straight up. Like
That was great.
I got
Prop-
I got
dude,
no
wait,
complaints. I
props
mean,
to
how
Lucasfilm.
can like,
Props to Lucasfilm for zeroing in on the things that we did love about some of the new canon, right?
I
did
think-
love that train scene in Solo. So.
Yep.
look, you
Yeah.
can say what you want about the editing we have about the previous episode. I think the easiest fix is the first episode should have just been called Prologue, and this should have been called Chapter 1.
I like how
Mhm.
we got Dean Cundy back though, and we're like talking about like the second unit. it was good though. It was very good.
This is like some of the best Star Wars we've ever got, ever.
Mhm.
Like,
It's really good.
Yeah, I mean the nitpicks I have are like when I see the concept
can't
art, I'm
help
like
it.
they could use more yellow in the scene, like some of those sand areas. But the lighting was great, and in the tent they got the reds in there.
Yeah, it's
You know,
got
when
no
you go to
tan
the
yet.
Anchorhead,
Weird.
the lighting in Anchorhead was spot on.
That was awesome. Yeah.
I mean, it could have been a giant cartoon mess. Like that hut thing should not. I mean, it's not quite film, but it's not TV. It's what Lucas always envisioned, I think, for TV. This episode, I think, is what Lucas, whenever he talked about Star Wars as a television, where it could be like these focused things that have like almost a film quality to them, done on a budget. This is it. Like,
It's really,
flawless.
really,
Like,
really
I-
good.
Yeah.
I
Bravo.
love her. I love her fan.
Next week,
Yeah.
watch. I'll fucking hate it next week, and then they'll be like, "Traitor, traitor!" Like I'll be like, "I'm TR-84, whatever that is." Like,
There is always a chance that the episodes could roll that way, where you kind of have like a setup episode and then they hit the ball. And
okay, just off
may
the
go
top
that
of
way.
my head, just one last thing off the top of my head. When Boba falls, when they're on the train, he falls on that little. Because people think I'm making shit up, trying to be nice to the audience. Like when he falls on that little flap, and there's that truck in that low camera, like it's on a hand, like, and it's just like following him, like that pull in on him. I'm like, I'm with him. Like now we're with Boba, we're with him on that train, man. Like, and then the Tuscan chick shows up on that speeder. I'm like, fucking kick some ass. Yes, like yes, that is. Thank you, Star Wars gods. You know, like for this.
It was good
Jeez.
shit. I really thought that Boba was gonna be gifted the Tuscan's actual gaffy stick. Like I thought that he was gonna take that. I thought he was maybe gonna like fall in love with that Tuscan Raider or whatever, and they were gonna take off the mask and it was gonna humanize them, but whatever. But I still thought that was great. That train sequence though, man, when they bring up those like the hinges or whatever, those and they're hiding behind them, that's straight from Solo. And that's the shit that I remember seeing that in like the marketing for Solo, and I was like, "Wow, I'm actually be interested in this a little bit. That looks like some good action." Right?
Was that coaxium? Just out of
No, it was spice. It was
no.
Yeah, regular.
No,
the fuel.
The fuel.
the fuel.
Yeah.
It looked like it.
Yeah.
Deep cut.
Yeah, I was happy that we actually got to see these two fuckers finally.
Me too.
Steph Green wasn't Steph Green's Steph Green directed one of the Americans, right?
I think
Like,
so.
I think some of the Americans, an episode of The Watchmen, the TV show, and I think some of Bates Motel.
Oh, and
No
Full
Man
House.
in the High Castle.
Fuller House.
Yeah, like Steph, but Sam Hargrave on the action, Steph Green. This, I mean, if people are gonna bitch about this, like we could. The episode is great. Whether I mean, like okay, we even got Tales of Power in this episode with the tree. I'm like, this with the oceans and I'm like, that's what I was telling you about the water. And by the way, I just want to say, last week I said when he goes into Boba mode, it should go that Kill Bill wee, and they did it.
Yeah.
They did it. I sat down, Mike. You hear the sirens, mother? You hear the fucking sirens? What I'm talking about? Like, yes, threw him through the window.
That
You know,
tree,
like,
that
yes.
tree is also straight out of the Colin Trevorrow Duel of the Fates concept art.
That tree is out of every
Yeah.
kind
Right.
of mythical story.
Yeah,
Heroes.
but
basically,
but the silver sort of tinge to it. It just reminds me of that concept art of Kylo on that Sith planet when he was like taking life out of things. It had
Yeah.
like wispy, silvery sort of quality to it.
The one thing that I predicted accurately that last week that no one's going to give a shit about is that I knew that they were going to have to go the shamanistic route in this one, and that's what they did. Is they sent him on his little journey out there, his little acid trip, and
Yeah, my only on the acid trip was I wasn't sure what the eyes were, and I was like, those are owls or something. What is? And then in the concept art, it was Jawas.
Jawas.
Was there an owl, Rob? Was there an owl?
No, it was Jawas in the tree, I guess.
Oh,
okay. But in the concept art, it's like they're around the tree. I'm like, oh, they're
Ahsoka.
Jawas.
I was just saying because there was the Ahsoka owl. I might have missed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No,
That Wookiee
That was
is
great.
fucking awesome.
Badass shit
That
right
was
there.
great.
That's the
some
kind of Wookiees I thought would
Republic
be in episode
Commando.
3.
Republic Commando Wookiee right there.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
yeah, he's of course from the Marvel comics, which is one of the things I was actually critiquing them on, like just probably last week, is I was like, so much stuff comes in these comics and so little of it translates to screen or ever makes it. And I will say though, this one was always I felt like this guy was designed to be used beyond the comics from the very start. Like from the very start, they treated him like this guy's special. You could just tell.
Mhm.
And then, but it took a lot longer to get to him than I think was the original plan.
He's got Warcraft pads, bro. It's fucking
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. The eyes are really something.
Yeah, he's got
He's
the.
like
I'm
the
gonna kill
Klingon of Wookiees. You know what I'm saying? Like it's awesome.
He's gonna beat the crap out of Boba next week.
Yeah, one of the
Those poor guys holding that diet.
Somebody with a lightsaber is gonna cut this guy's head off.
I love how they're trying to balance the huts, kind of like
yeah.
saying that they're fat or something.
Well, yeah, his
Yeah.
sister's obviously
Same.
weighs a little more. Like the whatever they're on top of, that Boba doesn't want to get on top of. She's
I fucking love these. I love.
At
I was
first,
so
I thought
happy
they
to
were
see that.
conjoined. I thought they were
Rob's right about
conjoined at
this.
first.
That would be cool. Rob's right about it. It doesn't look like film, but it doesn't
Oh.
look like TV. It's right in the middle.
Like,
Such a cool
like
shot.
what are the purple Muppets from Sesame Street? Right? Like right? The
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought at first too. I'm like, they like the Muppet? We doing that? Because I'm all for that. We're gonna do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, look
Look how they're
at my
straining. That is
They're
so
like,
great.
"Ah."
And might I add, the Gonk droid, that's what an OT droid looks like, not that Boston Dynamics weird shit. Some fucking crazy, clunky garbage, Oscar the Grouch looking trash can,
Nice.
you know, vending machine. That's a Star Wars droid. Yeah, it makes no sense. Should not work, you know?
It was a good detail to have it bending.
Yeah, that's
To
what
have
I'm
Yeah.
that-
talking about. Yeah, I
that
love
neck on.
that.
That was a really good detail. I agree.
Yeah.
I love that.
And that guy right there who's like stuck, he's like, the whole time he's like, oh god.
Look at the one in the middle, on the right, on the left. It's really
It's
straining.
a
Yeah.
little- that's great composition. This is a
Look
little
at that
dark.
bend. What do they make that out of?
Well, this is a
Oh,
little
wow,
dark, but
what
I
is
had to
that?
carry both my parents when they passed their coffins. My mom, for some reason, was buried in her motorcycle gear, so it weighed like 120 pounds more than it should have. Like, so we were like, I was like, I cannot drop my mom. Like, I can't. I gotta like really suck this. But she wore the heaviest gear. This is so nuts. Yeah, I felt that dude's pain. Like, I know that.
That's hilarious. In a world
Oh,
of
wow.
anti-gravity, where everything's anti-gravity everywhere, they got to carry these two fat asses around.
That's the
manually.
show of power. That's the show
Hell
of
yeah.
power, right? Yeah.
Jason,
Look at that look.
I love that look. Yeah.
Mark
That's some
Mark
He-Man
Hamilton. Mark Hamilton kind of brings it back in here and is asking, do we think the twins will be the main protagonist or someone, maybe Kira, pulling the strings?
Yeah, they if they're doing the Kira thing, they're definitely hiding it. They're definitely not doing the early review. Actually, I wanted to ask you guys before we get too far into this. Do you guys think that the 4chan leak now is more credible or is it less credible?
Yeah, I think they're pulling in the whole underworld. They're probably pulling even from Lucas's underworld scripts.
Mhm.
Pulling in,
I don't know.
Black
They can
Sun
pull
and
from,
all
well, James, they can pull from Underworld and not be pulling from the solo sort of underworlds.
Well, because the Pike Syndicate and Crimson Dawn and all that stuff was part of Lucas's underworld. I mean, that wasn't something that was made up for Solo. That was stuff that
Yeah.
already existed.
Yeah.
And so Solo really pulled from underworld.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I actually have
I think
a
the 4chan leak is less credible. If you want me.
Agreed.
less credible. Yeah, I mean
Well,
him
it
shooting.
made some big claims like end of episode 1. Here's fucking 8 clones with the same face, all on cam at the same time.
Well, it was 3 paragraphs for 7 episodes, so it's kind of a hard one to read. But my big gripe, my big baby bitch moment is that we've seen Tusken Raiders for like around 40 something years now, and we've never seen their faces. They made up the Pikes for the Underworld TV show, didn't do shit with them, teased them in the Clone Wars, put them in Solo ones, and now they've already taken off the mask and shown us what the face looks like. It's like
Mhm.
when nobody was even asking. Like we could have kind of just left that one alone for what it was worth. I mean, at this point, don't show me that. I didn't mind how it looked, but at the same time, I was kind of like, why are we doing this one?
Well, yeah. Well, some of like the alien races, like and unmasking them, like the Pikes, you kind of wonder like, is like the juice worth the squeeze, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And with Tusken Raiders, this kind of what I thought was going to happen was, who I thought, and I'm assuming I could be wrong, and I'd love to be corrected, but I thought that the Tusken Raider with the gaffy stick was a woman, a Tusken Raider, and I thought that maybe
It is.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
it
I
is.
thought that maybe Boba was gonna like fall in love with that Tusken Raider and that they would be
don't.
unmasked. I know, bro. Okay, yeah, let's relax for a second. That's what I thought
Don't.
may happen. You know, some people think
I'm
this
out.
who knows? Like, listen, I thought maybe that may happen, and then he would get that gaffy stick from that person. But yeah, the unmasking of Tusken Raiders, and maybe I thought maybe it was a good chance to like personalize, give like a personality to the and humanize the Tusken Raiders, because I've always kind of thought it was kind of a weird.
Yeah, but sand is coarse, rough, and it gets everywhere.
Yeah, we know that.
I don't know. I thought they humanized the Tuscans pretty good in this episode when that train showed
No, but they
up
did.
and
They did.
waxed a
Yeah.
bunch of kids, and
Yeah.
I felt bad for the bantha. I'm like, the poor little thing.
No, but that's the
I
point
did too.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Is like, do you need to unmask people, right? And Jason, we kind of had the conversation on the Patreon episode about Darth Vader and him being masked still and being able to,
Well,
get the emotion out of that.
you-
scene.
You know what's funny about that though, Johnny, is Steph Green directed the episode of Watchmen that Steph Green directed was the one that dealt with Looking Glass, the character Looking Glass, like the Rorschach, that character. So like, I just find it funny, like that episode dealt with wearing masks, and then it's like a good person for character work to helm an episode dealing with Tusken Raiders.
I haven't
speeder
seen.
bikes. By the way,
I haven't seen that. What is that, like the Watchmen TV show, the HBO?
yeah, the Watchmen TV
Okay.
show. It was the 5th episode.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay.
This sequence for me
Mhm.
was watching Full Throttle come to life. You guys ever play that game Full Throttle by Lucas?
Mhm.
Like,
Yep.
there's a sand people hover bike gang in that game, and I'm like, I'm finally seeing Tuscans on screen. Like, I've been waiting for this since 1995. Like, you have no idea. I was like, just say Full Throttle,
Look.
please. Like, just,
Look,
What is that?
I wanted to show you guys. It's the conductor of the train, and it's on the speeder bike, isn't it?
and it's killed one already. I got one down. Like, I love that conductor. Oh,
Right. It's killer.
The cheech. I'm like, I love it.
So when the montage sequence starts with the Tuscans learning how to ride the bikes, I thought it was hilarious, and I let my son stay up even though it's a school night because I'm a rock and roll dad and he's cool.
You are rock and roll dad.
And he's in bed now, so that's why I'm like, gotta be quiet. But he stayed up and watched. But he was in tears, laughing. He loved it. He thought it was the best thing that had ever happened. It was so funny to him. And I was like, did that work for adults? Did that work for you guys? Did you guys like it?
Yeah, I was like, what an asshole.
Yeah.
it's
When he
good.
goes backwards, when he first goes backwards,
Mhm.
I know you can't because in Jedi that remember when the speeder guys go whoo and there's that echo whoo, right?
Yeah.
It's the echoes because of the trees, but it would have been funny to hear the whoo like when he's off screen, right? Like it's like sound design. So good.
Do we think that we'll see the Tuscans in the next episode, or is that chapter over with the
No,
dance?
I think Boba's got Tuscans in his back pocket for something else. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, what we saw in this episode, I think that was the big takeaway, is that he essentially gave the Tuscans a future and a
Mhm.
future in
Well,
crime.
Jason, he's also projecting his power in present day and not mentioning the Tuscans. So unless something went wrong with them, he's obviously. I'm just gonna assume.
It's gonna go wrong.
Oh yeah, no, something's gonna go wrong.
This was the feel good moment. It is gonna go really wrong.
There's a COVID outbreak in the Tuscan.
He's gonna, or he learns not to let the fish people go. The fishmongers, should have killed him.
Never capture a Rhodian.
Right. Yeah, they did a really a good job too of when they give him his cloaks and his underrobes now, because now when you see it and it's altered the costume, which I haven't always been a fan of, but the fact that it has significance other than a designer, at least the storytellers gave it significance other than a designer going, wouldn't it be cool if he was Ninja Boba Fett, like kind of taking it that way. I actually am pretty happy with that. But my other question was the conductor stop motion?
It was puppetry work for certain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it moved, but they can make it move that way. However they did that, I love it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. The irregularities in the movements is what makes it more robotic to me. Like when they make it look really, I'm like, creepy. Like, it just moves. I would not. Whoa! Oh, 7 hands. Oh, he's blowing up the train. He's nuking dudes with the.
Yeah, because how I thought they did it just at a glance was that it was a full size droid, and then they posed it and then took the photographs and animated it like stop motion, but it was actually a big puppet. That's the vibe that I got when I was looking how it moved, but it was bizarre, but it has that Captain EO 80s feel, and I dig it.
Yeah.
You almost feel like that should have been in Jedi, don't you? Don't you feel like, man, imagine if the conductor was like leading the barge or something like that.
Well, he was pretty much the drum set in Captain EO, and then Max Rebo was pretty much in that one too.
Well, speaking of Jedi, actually, Mark Hamilton just made a comment. He said he laughed when the Tuscans went backwards when they were on the speeder bikes. I'm pretty sure that is a gag in Return of the Jedi, is it not, with the Ewoks?
He goes forward.
Oh, he goes forward?
He goes forward,
He's
yeah.
on, he's flying. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember what? Do you
go
remember
on.
when the train was first coming? What are the dogs called? The
Mastiffs.
Yeah. What happened with that one that it looked like it was getting taken away or sucked out of the from the sand or something? Like
It was
frog.
It was killing the frog dog.
Yeah.
It was what?
It was getting a frog dog.
Oh.
It ran away.
The one in the sand was the frog dog, the thing you see in Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
The frog with the little long
Uh-huh.
tongue.
I believe it's called a wart.
Okay, because I couldn't
Wart. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It was a wart.
couldn't tell.
Frog
Star Wars
dog.
Galaxies.
It's not
Kill
frog
off the
dog.
warts.
Instead of Nard dog, it's frog dog. Look at that. It's so fucking good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's a sweet design.
Yeah. So kind of like Bomar Monk meets General Grievous. just
If
chilling.
anybody plays anybody in the chat that plays Kerbal Space Program, that looks like something that's totally Kerbalized. You guys will love that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sorry, a little inside baseball, but yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, could be the same concept designer for all we know.
Just a little box.
Now you got to
in the
go
middle
build
of
it,
the head.
Johnny. Make it, see if it actually works.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, let's get a little pro out.
So Boba needs permission to kill the Hutts. Who does he need permission from?
The Hutts, probably.
From the other.
Makes sense.
Mace from Mace Windu.
Mace Windu.
From the Hutt Slayer, Leia herself.
Do we know who those Hutts are? Because
Han
that's
Solo.
not Jabba's son, is it?
Yeah.
Rhoda?
It's cousin. I think it's his cousin,
I
isn't it?
swear to God, if that's Jabba's son, I'm out.
What happened to Rhoda?
They never
wasn't
mentioned him. He's gone. Yeah.
Stinky baby?
Yeah.
Let's forget about
Oh,
him.
she ended
He
up
never had a
on
kid.
Valerie and then quit and became the Hogan family. What?
I'm pretty sure.
Well,
Boba
actually,
said
Mark
cousin-
Hamilton, I think some of this humanization of the Sand People has a direct correlation to Kenobi. It has to. It has to. I don't think that they're going to spend that amount of time humanizing the Sand People, the Tuskens, just for the Boba exposition. I think that we're going to see carryover to Kenobi 100%.
Dude,
at least in the culture.
Kenobi's racist. We pretty much established that
Yeah.
in the films. He's racist, and when we see him in A New Hope, he still seems pretty racist against those Tuskens. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I don't think he's
Well-documented
changed
white
at all.
nationalist. Well documented.
I don't-
Tim Pool viewer.
Yeah, I don't think he's changed. But Meg had the idea that that one guy who plays the stormtrooper.
Mm-hmm.
He says he's a stormtrooper and he's a Tusken Raider in this. That may be the stormtrooper. So we may see it kind of play through.
That falls into the Sarlacc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. It's a fun theory.
Yeah. That's something they would do.
And
Yeah.
get it slowly
Who's
digested.
they, James? Who's they?
They
Mark-
would be
get
Lucasfilm. Try to, let's throw something in here so it connects to Kenobi, even though it makes no relevance to the story. It's just a weird random Easter egg.
Mark Hamilton says, hopefully we get some of this level of world building on other planets. After Kenobi, we will have spent a lot of time on Tatooine.
Too much.
Andor.
And or what? Just kidding.
There's going to be plant. You got me.
Got it.
Yeah.
Very, very.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean we definitely I think are maybe gonna leave, maybe we'll leave Tatooine when it comes time to dealing with those Hutts, when it comes to the like next level.
Mm-hmm.
But also, if that leak is accurate, then Boba has and the mayor have a disagreement, and then they team up. So
We
with that,
talk about the visual effect work on the mayor is excellent.
Yeah.
it is.
That hair on the mayor reminded me of the Snoke work.
That's called mare hair.
Yeah.
Mare hair, I believe.
Yeah, but right now, if you get Manscaped, you can get off all your mare hair. No, we're not getting.
Yeah.
But see how I could Manscaped? You see how I could do that for the show? We could. That would have been a spot. We would have done
Yeah,
that.
fuck you, Manscaped. Pay
The
us.
the sound design on them was dope. They held back the dual speak in the
I
voice
loved
work
that.
trailer.
Mhm.
It was
But
so
great.
subtle.
Yeah.
It was so subtle.
Oh, you pronounced the B.
Yes, I did on purpose.
James, you were saying, do we know who those Hutts were? I think
Oh,
Boba
it's
said,
demon down.
I think Boba said that it's Jabba's cousin. I think it's cousins. I think.
I think that's what I
You
heard.
might be right. Yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
Some of my cousins. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard that.
I mean, they did pretty well establish the Hutt families in the Clone Wars. They had like the whole mafia meeting with all the different, Hutt crime bosses and stuff. So they do have a lot of that already established in lore. So I'm sure
Mhm.
somebody
It's
knows how
Godfather,
it
right?
ties in.
It's Godfather, right? It's
Yeah, pretty
Godfather.
much. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
When they
Yeah.
said we're gonna go wait, I was like, if they cut to a prairie and they'd put little Hutts on a prairie, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. Like right? So one minor gripe at the beginning. Did Boba and the Gamorreans walk back from Mos Espa to the Jabba's palace, or did they have the ride and then Fennec was stuck walking back? You know what I'm saying? Like the geography of the walking. I'm a little. So
last episode, we don't know. We just know that the two Gamorrean guards take Boba to go put him in the tank, and then we cut to him being put into the tank. Fennec walks homeboy back.
Right. And then he had to walk back again. That'd be fun. Like
yeah,
let's go back for another walk.
So how about that Rancor gag?
That was funny.
That was good.
Was it good or disappointing that you
No,
didn't
it's
get
good.
Rancor?
It's good. It's good.
I was worried a little mini baby Rancor was going to come out. I was really worried about that. Like, like, oh, don't do the tiny Rancor gag.
It was going to be Phil Tippett in the suit.
Like, rah!
Well, it's good knowing that we're probably most likely going to see the actual Rancor, are we not? Like, is that not like an actual confirmed leak or?
Well, there being no Rancor in there, does that disprove the 4chan leak?
Oh my god, the 4chan leak! I don't even. Why are we talking about the 4chan leak?
Because it actually has big bearing on
already said
what
the
the fuck
first
the point
episode
is.
was supposed to end with
No,
all the clones there.
They didn't say that.
Angry. Look at that.
They didn't say that. They gave 3 paragraphs.
Hey Johnny,
of things
every time
that
you get
happen.
really mad, can you do me a favor? Can you just put a little rough, like just fire off a couple bombs, little truth bombs, a little riff.
I'm not trying to stick up for it. It literally doesn't say that. It actually has the clones coming in like in the 3rd act is actually how it's laid out. And but it does say that he has Moochie.
Wasn't Kira supposed to be there the first episode at the end?
It doesn't say. It never says first episode, second, third.
Because
it's probably my fault. I didn't raise you right.
The clone things can still happen. Like when I saw the tree, like I get they each come back with the branch, but when I saw the tree, my first thought was, well, if there's water, is that his family tree? Like it's displaying, like is that when
that tree has shown up in the canon before about Tatooine having an oasis. It was in a book, and I don't remember which one now.
Well, I thought it was interesting they brought up like the oceans drying up on Tatooine because back there was the book that Kevin J. Anderson wrote with the Ralph McQuarrie illustrations in it, and the Tatooine section of that, Kevin Anderson had proposed that Tatooine was once a water world and the oceans dried up, and Lucasfilm said, "Nah."
Yeah,
I got thrown out.
I think there's sort of an interesting concept here with like the trees being on, like, where do these trees come from on Tatooine? Where does the fruit come from, right? The fruit with water in it. And I'm thinking maybe like there's sort of like a cool story that has to do with the Force where the trees sort of will sprout and die kind of very quickly and just this thing in the sand for people to find. I don't know.
No, it's I think it's in the last Jedi novel.
Is it like how the fruit like come from a certain tree? Does it like is there some sort
about how there's like an oasis forming that forms on Tatooine?
I'm just saying there's these random fruits with water in them all around the planet, like.
Yeah, and then it but I can't remember if it comes after Luke brings balance or if it's just a thing. I can't remember now. It's too late, and I need to look that up though. But
some of the Return of the Jedi concept art had some of the early concept art for Return of the Jedi had like grasslands on Tatooine and stuff. So they obviously had at some point intended to show like it's not a complete dust ball.
Well, like
it's not Nebraska.
Well, like it's like a whole planet that has life on it. That's just one sort of like biosphere. It's not. I don't know that that's even like something.
It's not real. It's Star Wars.
Like that's not even something that even makes sense. Like it obviously has.
So are Force ghosts and running super fast and.
Like if there's clouds, like it rains somewhere. There's some sort of reservoir of water, whether that changes where it is. There could be some sort of interesting story that's based off of like certain like tribes following the clouds that give water in certain areas on Tatooine, that being like a force cult or something.
Yeah, they kind of lay out that people come with technology and the oceans dry up, they come with a tech. Maybe even the tech is responsible for it to some extent. Who knows? But they show up, and then they clearly alienate the Tuscans and try to remove them from the land immediately as settlers, right? And then so you just have these stupid Luke Skywalker types that are using moisture evaporators, not knowing the land at all.
Well, that's one of the things that I noticed in this episode is that there was some talk of like indigenous people in the lands and taking the lands, and like I know that I'm sorry, what is the actor's name that plays Boba Fett? What's his actual name?
Tamura Morrison.
Tamura Morrison. I know he's from New Zealand, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's a Maori
Yeah,
man from New Zealand.
That it must have felt good for him to say some of the lines of dialogue in today's episode pertaining to the indigenous peoples living there and giving kind of respect to the Tuscan Raiders. And
Well, let's ask him. I actually have him on the phone right here.
oh, perfect. Here we go.
Hey,
Here we go.
Tim.
Oh no, actually, I didn't give a shit. I just wanted the paycheck. Oh, okay, cool, dude. Sorry. I'm a shithead. But yeah. So Murphcake says the Tuscans hate technology religiously in Kenobi. Yeah. I'm not sure how he negotiated the terms and explained it to the Tuscans using ASL. But I think he did it.
I actually thought I don't think he used ASL. Like I don't know. I don't use ASL at all, but I thought it was a good chance for him to actually use ASL because if you watched Hawkeye at all, they use ASL a lot in that episode, and I thought it just kind of would have been a nice place to maybe do that for Star Wars fans who do actually use ASL.
So looking at that pic, imagine the pikes are like small parasite creatures that attach to the heads of human hosts.
Mm.
Get them hooked on spice and they'll sell their bodies.
He is right. It does look like a crustacean sort of on top of like a goldfish sort of thing.
Check them out.
Like a shrimp.
Right, I like it.
Yeah. I don't know. Kind of reminds me of like Kit Fisto's cousin.
All I know is he smells terrible. That's all I know.
Yeah.
They all stink.
Stinky spice. Yeah.
Smell like NFTs. Yeah.
Hot
Yeah.
and sweaty.
Hey, NFTs are art. We already know.
They're kind of like, as I was watching this, I started to like kind of notice how the what are they called? Emphas Nest and her gang, they kind of have a lot of the same design motifs. And then we got the train, and it did kind of feel like in some ways like they were being like, well, let's use what worked in Solo in this episode. And
Jason didn't like the episode.
me, I liked it.
Like it.
No, I liked it. Yeah.
Last time you were pretty hyped, but now it's like,
No, I have to whisper because my kids are sleeping. Is why I'm trying not to wake them up.
Chris, what time is it over there where you are?
I'm gonna use that one the next time I don't like the episode, Jason.
Oh, I like it.
I'm sleeping. I can't wake them up.
Chris, what time is it where you are?
It's good time, actually. It's 8:45 p.m.
PM?
Damn.
Yeah. It's not 6 a.m. It's like
It's AM or PM?
p.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's good.
Wow.
Good time.
It's
Wow.
4:45 in New York City.
4:46 a.m. in Toronto, Canada.
It's 3:47 here in Houston.
Same Chicago. Yeah.
Peanut butter jelly time in Idaho. Peanut butter jelly time. Peanut butter jelly time. What?
So what was
Wide awake.
showing him fading in between having the suit on and the suit off? Was that corny or was it good? It kind of looked like the Inner Sandman music video for a second. I kind of started to laugh.
Good callback. Yeah.
It's always good to see the OG costume, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All I keep thinking about is Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, I forgot to mention.
with,
Mark
action
Hamilton says, "Loved how the twins were hating the Tatooine heat, fanning and dabbing themselves with water." More importantly, the animation on that hamster. The poor little hamster. I was like, "Mother, dear God, get me out of here. I don't. This is. I'm in hell. I'm in hell. I'm in hell." Like that should be the one other furry creature Patton Oswalt does the voice for. That thing,
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that they call back to the OT suit as opposed to black under tunic that he's wearing now.
Mhm.
Mind
I was
you,
looking
exactly
for
who the hell this?
THX 1138 callbacks ever since you mentioned that, Jason.
Oh, now I see water. I didn't see water in the last
Yeah,
one.
there's water in the desert. That's why I guess that represents the Tatooine oceans. But because they tell him that after, I thought that was representing Camino. Right. So like, if that's supposed to be the Tatooine history, right? Like it used to be a water planet. This is a tree. Then probably should have told him that when they gave him the lizard. Gave him a little something to think about. And then because I first when I saw the water, I'm like, is that his family tree and that represents Camino? Because we already seen that by the way, that shot of Logan where he looks out that is really good. Like
Boba looks like he listens to Joe Rogan, so he knows what DMT is.
I just ate a really big bowl of pasta. I'm not taking any lizards. I'm not taking any lizards. I'm lizard free now. 20 years. I'm going to hell. One day Tamura Morrison will see me. He's like, I'm fucking you up now. I'm like, yeah, I know, mate. Oi, push. I earned it.
And then obviously we end with the Tuscan dance party. Is Tuscan dance party going to be the most loved thing ever or the most hated? That was my question when I saw it.
Jason, that's a lot like the haka, the New Zealand Maori dance. So it's called the haka. It reminded me of. It's very similar to what we saw at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I honestly got to be honest with you though. Star Wars fans don't give a shit. They're mean.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I liked it. No, I actually liked it. I thought it was a good way to end the episode. A Tuscan dance party, and it wasn't like it didn't have a bass beat to it or anything like that. It wasn't like Disneyland. No one was raising the roof or anything. It was well done.
I thought they were going to duel, and then they just all started dancing. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could have been really cheesy. I mean, it's a little on that, but it works. But it could have that could have gone horribly wrong, folks. Let's give him credit.
I want a short story of what Blizzard does.
That could have turned into the Thriller dance.
Murph Quake, where are you from? What part of Texas? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Murph Quake.
Yeah, he said he's in Texas. Just wondering where.
Name too, by the way. Just letting you know, Murph Quake.
Okay. So someone needs to put some different background music to that dance scene.
It'll happen.
That's coming.
So let's put some ABBA behind there or something. See how that works then.
I just want to enter Sandman when he's tripping out in the armor.
That would actually work
Neo
out pretty
music.
good.
Yeah.
The Captain Neo music would work, I think, probably in the end.
Just another part of me. Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you guys this, because I think last week me and Max were overwhelmingly positive, and everyone else was like, I don't know if I signed up for this. Do you think the first episode did any lifting that we benefited from in this one, or do you think the first one it was just tired and that's
no? The entire first episode should have been all Boba Sarlacc pit exposition, and the entire rest of the series would have flowed much better. I'll always stand by that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chris, you got any thoughts on that, or anything on your mind on that one, or you think it's just is what it is?
Rob, disagree with me.
Rob or Chris? He's going. Rob?
Chris.
Me?
Yes,
I still dislike episode chapter 1, but obviously chapter 2 is a big improvement. But I honestly don't think we're going to see the Tuscans again. I think the story's wrapped up. I think the dance was like a farewell finale, and he's going to go his own way. He's got the robes, got the tunic, but we'll see. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, because a part of me feels like if they had truncated the first episode and put it onto this one, then the criticism would have been it was too easy to get in with the Tuscans. And I do feel like in this one, when he has the wins, I feel like we fill them more because of the first episode. But I haven't watched them together yet, so I'm gonna watch them both together. And and see, because I definitely could see why they didn't give us 2 episodes, because they would have been giving us a shit ton of content.
Right.
In terms of the length of the 2 put together is pretty long, so they probably why they didn't do that. But it definitely, if they had put those 2 together, it would have been overwhelmingly positive. People would have been through the roof talking about how you need to watch this show. That was
Right.
a mistake. It definitely was a mistake on their part.
Well, and you did mention that they added an episode, correct? So I'm wondering, when they started editing these first 2 episodes together, maybe they, made the pitch to say, "Hey, we got enough material here to do this, or this first episode's too long." They wanted to edit it. They went into negotiations. Said, "What if we
Yeah.
get into 2?" Yeah, because it's a weird breaking point. That makes no sense to where they ended the first episode and then you go into the second episode, because they could even just have shown the dude falling into the Rancor pit, and then you could have ended with cliffhanger. Oh, it was the mayor that sent me, and then boom, then you end. There's at least something to move the plot forward, and that to end the show on that first episode. I mean, TV writing's weird because, it's always strange when you have to, versus writing a movie where it's like you got your beginning, you got your end. With TV, you have to have consistent breaks in there. You can't just write a whole story and then just say, well, we'll just figure out where we're going to break it off. You have to have that in mind. It looks like they didn't. It just, so something had to have happened there where they ended the first episode where they did, just because it doesn't make any sense to me looking at it editorially.
Yeah, it definitely, see, in that first episode, I think they had a lot of moments where they like let the show breathe to some extent, but it's juxtaposed against very hurried taking care of business moments, and I think that is the part that it feels weird. And I think if you come at it from the wrong angle, I don't think you enjoy it. I have a feeling when people go to rewatch the whole thing, knowing what they're going to get, they're going to watch the first episode and maybe enjoy it more. But I'm overwhelmingly positive about the whole thing. So,
well, I know I kind of shitted on the first episode the last time we did this, but it was more of the fact that it just didn't go anywhere. It wasn't that any of the content necessarily was bad. I mean, we can, and Rob and I talked about the cinematography was kind of flat and stuff like that. So that's true, but I can deal with, stilted acting, bad cinematography if the story is good. But there wasn't enough story in that first episode to move it
That explains
anywhere.
the prequel.
Well, yeah. Hey, yeah. I mean,
Put it all together.
Hey, if we can have a Ray Harryhausen monster and people aren't going to bitch about that, then we can have stilted acting and bad dialogue and not bitch about that too. I mean, you can't have it both ways. Oh, I want everything to be perfect, but then it's like I have a claymation monster at the end of my episode, and it's like, oh no, that's great.
Always it's always great. Like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy might not be the best version of that story shot cinematically, but they vomit yarn, so it's great. No other movie I know of vomits yarn, so you fucking win.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yarn vomit. Show me another movie that ever did it. First time, last time, best ever.
Yeah,
so 2 things on that though. Like, I think there's the fan edit easy fix. Episode 1 is just titled Prologue.
Yep.
And episode 2 is retitled Chapter 1. Like, that is the easy fix. The writing fix is, I think the reason why it feels weird is that in novel writing, you have a thing called like a chapter is a scene, which sets up stuff or things that happen. And then the sequel deals with it and sets up the next thing. This show sort of starts with the sequel. Like, it's sequeling Jedi and Mando. So and then it sort of sets up the next thing. This is the setup for the next thing. So it starts with the sequel, goes into a scene, which is why you got all these sequences in this, like the big train sequence and the speeder bike stuff and the him joining the tribe finally. So then now we'll have the sequel. The ramifications of all these scenes will then play out in the next episode. So that's why it feels weird.
Yeah. Well, and this is 90% done in editing too, because I'm sure that script for that first episode was probably like 5 pages long with the amount of dialogue there is. There's a lot of just, it's a slow burn. And so that is all done in production and editing because the script doesn't have
half the length.
Yeah.
I mean, if, like not a half, but like, a third of the length. So I also feel that, okay, if you're going to fix it, it comes to plussing the things you saw in the previous episode, which I covered in the last two conversations we had about it, is if you plus certain scenes, they become more enriched. All that being said, Jason's right. Once everything's said and done, if this is the pace and the tempo for the show moving forward, when you go back and rewatch it, you're not going to care too much. But this is also why in like shows like Hawkeye and Loki, they show you, remember that time in New York when Hawkeye saved all those people? So you remember why he's important. You actually see him doing it. Even though we've seen him do it, it's important in the show to have the character be seen doing that. Otherwise, you're just talking about things that happened once and you're not seeing it. So that's where I feel in that first episode, had we seen Boba kicking ass and when you cut to Luke hitting or Han Solo hitting him accidentally, whoever hit him accidentally on the backpack, you could see there was more context from his point of view. And then it was like a dumb strike that got hit, like he was busy doing some other shit. Would have been like a way to like kind of retcon a little bit without retconning. A little Back to the Future 2 work. Would have seen, his, like it could open up with him delivering Han Solo's carbonite to Jabba. You know what I mean? Like in Jedi, like, so that way you could see him being the old bounty hunter. And then when he dies, supposedly, spiritually, he dies in that Sarlacc pit. So he's being reborn a different person. That's what they're going with, like he climbs out completely reborn.
But again, they never set up who he was before he went in. So reborn
that's why
from
it's
what?
Important to show that stuff in the first episode, as
right?
Marvel has already shown. So that all being said, man, like this is
when you have a character where everyone is talking about how he's so cool and important because you don't know anything. He's a man of mystery. He'll fuck you here, he'll fuck you there, however you want to be fucked, man. They kind of that bullshit that they do. Was it important to not tell you who he was so you can decide what he was, and then to do this story where they now tell you who he is when he's 50 or whatever?
That's way too meta.
Yeah, maybe. I do feel like that's what's going on though.
Yeah.
I do feel like that might be where the creative choices came from. Of let's play the JJ ambiguous role here and not define too much, so that way we could just do what we want to do.
Well, I'm interested to see then when Luke comes back into the fold somehow in this whole Filoni-verse kind of thing. He's not going to have any love for the Jedi. And I mean, I think if he knew that Din was ultimate goal was to get Grogu back to a Jedi, I don't think he would have been like, if they're going to do that kind of spiritual rebirth, then that's going to be like, whoa, what the fuck? This guy, your whole life you've been like, raging against the Jedi. Jedi killed your dad, and all of a sudden you can be like, oh, but I spent some time with Tuskens in the desert, and now Jedi are cool.
Well, no, two things I would say is the first
Mace Windu.
the first thing is that we see that he unlike Anakin Skywalker, he's not a kid killer. He won't kill a kid. When he sees a Tusken kid right from the start, he's like, that's just not his style. He doesn't beat up on the kids, right? And maybe that's all the way from his father training. I think you could actually make that argument for that. But Grogu may be the device that atones Boba with the Jedi Order in terms of if we get down into stupid comic book logic, which Star Wars is completely guilty of, but it's like a Jedi coming, therefore I hate all Jedi now. You put acid on my face, now I'm crazy and I'm two-faced. I mean, it's like the same kind of. It doesn't make sense, really.
Yeah, well, we've seen Boba like not kill kids, but we haven't seen Boba really come up like against a youngling yet, like within the Book of Boba Fett story. So we don't know whether he would kill kids or not. Like in the flashback,
he did sell one into slavery in the Clone Wars. So I mean,
you are right where it's like, oh well, he's not going to kill kids, but like that's Boba and Mandalorian. He's not killing Grogu, right?
Well, now I think it's time. It's time I tell you guys something that's going to be hard for a lot of you guys to hear right now. But when Fennec in the first episode of Mando, when she dies and she gets the robot tummy, she was pregnant, you guys.
Oh shit!
She was pregnant, and Boba did it. He didn't even care. He says his line.
Now that kid is that Beaumont.
They don't have socialized healthcare on Tatooine.
He put the little baby brain in the Beaumont monk spider. That's the one we haven't seen in the show, but that's it. Yeah. She's gonna find out that's her kid.
Yeah.
Well, he takes some of those little clone babies off of Kamino and puts them in the spiders, and it's just baby spider monkeys flying around.
Baby Shark for 3 days. You know.
Yeah.
Canon.
Ralph McCoy sent me the prints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that bitch Kathleen Kennedy doesn't stop it from happening, because she's always stopping everything from happening. God.
Hey, did one of the youngling Tusken Raiders die when they got? Yeah, right.
I think so.
One of the ones that he was carrying, right, was the youngling.
It was like I would say a teenager one. At first, I thought it was the boy. I was like, oh
Yeah,
no,
was the kid.
that's
Was
how
it
I thought
not
it
the
was
kid?
too.
Was it not?
No.
no, it wasn't the the kid's fine.
They didn't have the kid in the shot after, even like the pan out of like the rest of the village after he threw the body on. So it was kind of weird.
He shows up a few later,
Yeah.
and you see him doing his thing. When the train was coming, did you guys think it was the crate from season 2 of Mando?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
first thing I
One?
told Johnny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It looked
Everyone
like it.
just
That is-
blasts out a crate. It's a crate horn. You can buy them at any
Yeah.
Tashi station.
Well, because it did
is
the
cool as
Tremors
fuck,
thing.
like laser, they're the laser
Yeah.
pointers of Tatooine. There's
It's-
people just set that shit off everywhere now.
It's cool.
Oh
as
shit, a
fuck.
crab dragon! You know, like that's what they do.
It's cool as fuck to see like what drug runners might be doing on Tatooine. Like, how are they getting drugs from drop point to?
I think we know pod racer trains.
Yeah, pod racer trains. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's just cool to see that.
Yeah. I liked seeing the pod dance with the pod racer motorcycle,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but pod racer trains pretty cool too. I'll take it. Just in a weird
Who was
way.
the guy with Cammy? Because he looked like Lone Star.
Fixer.
That was
Was it
Fixer.
Lone Star?
It's
That's
Fixer from the
Fixer
cutscene.
looks like Lone Star to me now, like a dark-haired Lone Star.
Can we talk about
He's got the-
the subtleties of how
The subtleties.
the subtleties
Subtleties.
of how funny it is that a guy who grows up with Biggs, who goes off like he's jumping ship and he's like going to be this great guy, and then he grows up with Luke Skywalker, who goes off to be this great guy, and he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna stay here and bang Cammy
No, he
while
had-
these assholes do the stupid shit,
He
right?
had his big standoff. He
No.
stood up to that alien.
No, exactly. It was a George
Defended his
McFly.
girl. That is his
That's the-
Palpatine moment.
No, that's what I'm going with. It is
He saw it.
he's the George
This
McFly,
is
dude.
This is
No.
Return of the Jedi for him, dude.
No, it's
You
not,
don't
dude.
understand about this.
No, he goes like, I object. Just kidding, and then gets beat up again. Like he's the one guy who never had his.
No, what you're not understanding is
You
this
take
is
your
something
damn
that-
hands
that-
off her.
No, listen. George told Filoni, "You gotta get this in there. You gotta give him his
Get-
Return of the Jedi moment."
Get your
Everybody
god dang
remembers.
hands off of her.
Fixer is a lover, not a fighter. I mean, at the end of it, that's all
Boba
else
Fett
said and
came to
done.
the Tashi station today, and he beat up all these guys, and then he wrote DIC in my asteroids game.
That's on his TikTok. He made that on his TikTok.
No, Fixter rhymes with Kitster. So maybe Kitster had a son named him Fixer.
what is Filoni trying to
Oh
tell
my
us?
God, dude, shut up, James.
Da-da-da.
Don't ever give me that idea.
Bloody had
Never give
nothing
me
to
that
do
idea.
with that.
This is what happens at 4 a.m. You know.
I
No.
thought someone said today Filoni was supposed to be directing this episode. You remember Jason
Somebody
on today's
did.
show?
You-
Someone
you
did.
know
I don't
what?
know what the
Jason.
hell they were
He
talking
told us
about.
that.
No,
Oh,
that
yeah.
wasn't me. That was me reading
No.
comments and me going, I don't remember anybody
Someone
ever.
lied.
I feel like if we knew that stuff concretely, it would have been a news story of the day during one of those slow days, and it wasn't.
I
So-
bring it up because the whole episode, I'm like, Filoni is out directing Robert Rodriguez. This is
Yeah.
fucking amazing. Look at this. And at the end, someone Steph Graham. Like, oh, Sam Hargrave. Okay, Filoni had nothing to do with this. Well, I take it back.
Oh, someone said Robert Rodriguez was demoted because he did a horrible job on episode 1. He's still standing by that?
A source of mine saw the show earlier and said Rob's fucking R word.
What?
I'm not
Johnny,
saying
what we were talking about earlier?
Oh my God, man. That word
does-
is something else.
he does
No, I
love
wasn't-
you though. He does love
No,
you. He said you could tell him, but tell him I love him. So
Oh my God.
Look, I'm just trying to give people credit for just saying the guy just made a stupid piece of shit episode that fucking sucked. But all right, I'm an R word. Like whatever. It's fine. It's okay.
R is for
What
wrong.
do I know?
R's for really
I
cool.
couldn't direct a better episode. What the hell do I know? I just figured the
don't
guy
pay
who
atten-
directed
who cares?
another
Don't pay attention to that
episode, a
guy.
couple
Hey.
movies, Dust for Dawn, Desperado March, you would have pulled off a better fight scene than, for like
Now, the
God knows how
reason
many
I-
fucking minutes.
The reason I said
Yeah, the
what
source was Mike Zero, Rob.
Oh,
no, I
well,
showed
then
Johnny
that makes sense.
earlier
Take it back.
a John Waters movie, and they used the R word, and it's an old movie, so
From the 80s. And
Has he seen Divine Eat Shit yet?
It's
not
pretty
yet.
good. I approve
I
of
sh-
the use of the R word in that movie.
I showed him.
The kids drop. Sorry.
No, I showed him from Female Trouble,
Yeah.
where they were talking. Mink Stole was her daughter, and saying that you look like an R word and whatever. So Johnny was laughing.
Let's have Johnny
Well,
turn in an essay, a 2,000 word essay on the meaning of eggs. What do the eggs symbolize?
Actually, if you want a 2,000 word essay, look to nobody other than James, who will give you a declaration of principles on Ralph McQuarrie's paintings.
He'll turn it into an RPG. He'll give us the stat points.
Bring up the
But James-
legendary email. Bring up the email that James sent in.
The last word
So we-
from James as he slips away into heaven will be R word bud. Well played, James. Well played. Didn't see that coming.
I got the.
I see what you did.
Who's the a-hole now, huh?
Oh, believe me, they're gonna. Some publicist / producer out there is going, Rob's the a-hole. We all know that. It's stupid Robert Rodriguez.
So to pick up on what Chris was saying, I do think we're going to see a goodbye to the Tuscans in a flashback. I do think that there will be a now I'm going about my way, but maybe we're going to see them kind of policing the roots, kind of like gaining in their own wealth.
Yeah, somebody made a good point in the chat of when Boba asked, like, "Oh, we're gonna need permission for that." Maybe he means permission from the Tusken Raiders. I don't know who said that in the chat, but that's a good idea. I think that makes sense.
Be weird
Him giving
flex.
respect back to the Tuscans, like that's who we need to ask permission.
Wait,
from.
you're saying that they would need to ask the Tuscans to kill the Huts?
Yeah, no permission.
Permission
to
to-
take out the mayor.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
the
you don't
mayor.
think so like it's their native land. They kind of own him to give him respect back to them in that way. No,
Yeah.
You
No.
need the Hut's permission.
no.
I feel like Mos
Oh.
Espa has been settled
Okay,
for.
I'll back up.
No. I'm just like in terms of lore, Mos Espa has been settled for hundreds of years by that point right there. So I don't think that they're going to really fight over that too much. I think it's more, but they do control the plains. That's what they let us learn, that he controls the outlying plains. So there is that, but yeah, I'm gonna think that when it comes down to mafia stuff, like how they always say, like, we don't want to go to war, and the mafia things, they always like are fighting, going to war, and then finally somebody gives permission, somebody either bends the rules and starts a war, or they get permission to whack somebody. And so that's always given from another Don, usually somebody of the same like stature. So where I was going to take this is who might that be? I mean, because they have name dropped Shizor in comics and stuff like that, not shown him. Might we get Black Sun and Shizor for the permission to go? I mean, because like we have the Pikes somewhat in.
But what do we have
Boba's
in
wheelhouse.
canon right now? What's in canon right now?
It's got to be Zorba.
No, it's got
Zorba the Hutt.
It's obviously Crimson Dawn. Like even like the visual callbacks to the Solo movie with like the bringing up the hatches on the train. Like, come on. Like,
Yeah, I don't know if we get another hut. I mean, 2 huts is, I think we're kind of good.
no, that's it. That's all we're gonna see of the huts is those two. There's
Yeah.
no way we get more huts. Like, and how far can you take things off planet before it becomes too expansive? And you're like, okay, this is just the Boba Fett story on Tatooine. Like, where are we going with this?
And
How expansive
Yeah.
can you really get?
Hey, Jason.
Too far.
Jason,
yeah, Chris.
remember about
Johnny
5
Downer.
6
What? What'd you say, Rob? What'd you say?
Little Johnny Downer down there.
Okay.
What does it all mean anyway? What is it
All
mean?
right, what's that, Chris?
Can't believe you're doing this. Second one
Remember-
episode, fucking whatever.
Remember about 5-6
Hey,
months
man.
ago, I sent you a photo of Morrison in New Zealand. He was wearing that hoodie. Do you remember that photo?
Mm-hmm.
well, on that hoodie, it was Boba in his new costume with the cape and with those bandoliers, but he was captaining a ship. And I'm thinking, does that have like something to do with the story? Because it was from it was the Book of Boba crew hoodie. We know that, and I'll try and find the photo for you. But he was captaining a ship, and I just find that pretty weird. Do you think he goes back and takes the Tuskens off world in a place with more water? But
take some fishing on Camino.
Yeah, takes him to Camino. Yeah, takes him to Camino. But
Can't swim. Drowns him. Oh shit!
Yeah, Boba hasn't watched
Now
Bad
Will
Batch
Black.
yet.
it was just weird that he was captaining a ship. I just found that hoodie a bit weird. I'll find that photo for you if you want. But
Yeah. I haven't
Remember
seen
that
it since back then. So
yeah, it was a few months ago. I'll try and find it for you. But it was weird that he was on a boat and then it was just like had the captain's will, and but yeah, maybe that plays a part in the story. Who knows? But I'll try and find that for you.
yeah, and Mike, permission granted. Simp whatever you want.
Permission granted. Okay, Roger out. Roger.
Yeah. And she's super small. I think I talked about that. Like I met her briefly at the solo premiere.
Listen, Jason, this
Very
is
short.
heightism. This is heightism. Okay,
Yeah.
How tall are you, Jason? 6'2",
I'm
6'3"?
No, I'm 6 foot.
6 foot? Okay.
Yeah.
Rob, how tall are you, by the way? How tall are you? 5'2".
6'2",
Are you actually
6'2"?
6'2"? Holy fuck.
74
Big
inches.
boy.
Exactly.
Big boy.
Yeah, Chris.
I was
I'm
in a
not even
tank,
ask-
so if
I'm
you
not
wonder
even
why I have
ask.
claustrophobia now you know. Like, I do. I have literal claustrophobia after the army. It's the cursing and the claustrophobia. I can't shake.
Jesus.
Can't.
Yeah.
Like
True.
that's why I freak out when I see like Boba is trapped in a Sarlacc pit. I'm like that. There's some horrifying stuff there.
Is
for
it
people who are
cathartic for you, Rob?
claustrophobic.
Is that cathartic for you, in a way?
What?
Seeing him get out, you know?
No, it's not cathartic. I'm like, it's never. Just waiting to stick you in another fucking chamber and torture you. Like, it's all. I'm always on the lookout for someone who wants to drop me in a Rancor pit. You know, what I mean? Like, I wouldn't fall for it.
It is his rebirth, though. Like, honestly, coming out of the Rancor pit is obvious. Like, the metaphor there is like an obvious rebirth. James actually brought this up of like, they're trying to like recharacterize him and like have a little bit of a rebirth for people that might not have seen Boba Fett before ever, may not have seen the original trilogy, don't know who he is. So they gave him in that context, and that's to look at it from that perspective is an interesting thing because they are completely recharacterizing Boba Fett by giving him the context of the. If you've never seen Empire and you've never seen Return of the Jedi, this is a completely different character. And looking at it from that perspective that you gave, James, of like them changing who the character is, and for people that have never seen the character before, I think that what we're seeing now is what Lucasfilm wants us to see that character as.
Well, I would go further than that, in that he had no character, because in Empire and Jedi, you just see him kind of skulking around.
Yeah,
and so you don't know like who the hell is
but
this
that's
guy?
not true. Yeah, okay, but like in dialogue, I guess he didn't really have too much character. But like what was inferred and what was always understood over like fucking however many decades is that Boba Fett is this ruthless badass that Darth Vader has to say no disintegrations to. So it is interesting.
Jason, I just DM'd you, mate.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because like at the same time, if Boba Fett was that badass that he gets that call, so did fucking Dengar. Just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah,
Dengar looks like
Dengar is a weirdo, and again, we've already discussed this. Underneath that thing on his head, he has a face, and it's not anything like it's not a religious thing. He has a face underneath.
Dude, it's Chris's grandma, dude.
It's a twin. It's like Voldemort. It's a twin, and the reason he wraps it up is because it's difficult to brush the teeth of the twin on his head, and it smells bad, and he's got to wrap it up. That's why.
I think Chris's grandma looks adorable.
Exactly like that.
Nice.
Exactly like that.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you.
And also has a respect to Darth Vader.
Johnny,
respect.
But this is
Dengar's
why
a lovely
I said
woman.
an easy plus for them to do in the first episode would have been that was like a episode 3 clone trooper that when the helmet is a younger version of himself that he sees his father. So you could see that so long as you're always a pawn in the game, you're just going to end up in the belly of a Sarlacc. He has to like he can't become this pawn. Like if you're a bounty hunter, you're still at the mercy of whoever tells you what to do. There's something that could have been done there to sell it. I imagine they'll get to that at some point because they keep bringing back up his childhood. I mean, that again, the Camino shot in this episode, seeing his father take off in the ship and stuff. So
I think that's a super wise. I think that's a super wise way to think about storytelling, and it makes sense and it's logical. But taking away Boba's mask is not going to happen.
No, I'm not saying taking away his mask. It's that he owns him. Dobby, he's his own Dobby.
No, but if that's the symbol, if that's the symbol, then it's not happening.
It depends. I mean, what greater themes from Star Wars will we see carrying over? In Solo, a Star Wars story, you have Kira, who makes a very big point to Solo before she abandons him that everybody serves someone, and she's like, I'm gonna polish Darth Maul's knob now. Bye, and she takes off, totally resigning herself to being in the service of someone. And I would thematically, if we want to pretend like these things are talking to each other, Boba is going to have come to that conclusion at 40 years old plus.
So she thinks that she was polishing his knob.
Oh, for sure. At least some dark side handies. At least.
It's on Instagram.
He's a real Forrest Chokey. I don't know. He's kind of weird.
Look, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. The missed opportunity is that he would then visually have seen his future. I will be rotting here for 1,000 years. I am not going to die here. I'm not going to give this.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. The visual of him getting rid of the mask and saying, I'm not going to follow this story here. I'm going to be the different one. This is my rebirth. I'm coming out of the Sarlacc pit. This is a different story for me. This is a different hero's journey. I understand that. I just don't think that Lucasfilm's going to get rid of the fucking mask. The obvious, good, logical story is what you're saying. I just don't think they're going to get.
I'm not saying his mask. I'm saying the trooper's mask. Had the trooper not been a stormtrooper, had it been a clone trooper.
Stormtrooper. Oh my god.
Yeah.
The stormtrooper that was had he seen a young version of himself rotting, right? And then that way you go, oh no, I'm not going to accept this. Like,
okay. No, I completely misunderstood. I completely misunderstood what you were saying. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he would have visually seen. I'm not going to suffer this fate. You know, like here I am. I ended up where my father ended up when or my brother. I'm seeing myself in this pit. God knows how long he's been here.
Just even a pause, 3-4 seconds on the mask and him like understanding, like I could end up here. Yeah, I understand. Sorry, I completely.
But if he had seen if it had cracked and he had seen underneath, there's there's a cathartic moment, a visual.
The Dagobah cave.
When Luke sees himself, like Dagobah cave, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Only this time it's
that
for
half
real.
mask. That half mask.
It's like poetry. It rhymes, you know. It would rhyme.
There was an episode where in the Clone Wars where Hondo says something to Boba about Jango. Like, your father wouldn't have acted like this. You shouldn't either. And Boba kind of takes it to heart. So that's the other thing too, is like there seems to be some kind of at least some kind of honor code that Boba had prior to this. So again, like I'm just confused as to like where they're saying this character was at and where he's supposed to like be transformed into something different. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like on screen, the most important element of it, we have him as a kid, and then we have him like in mid-40s. I mean, it's so open. Yeah, it so skips over until
I just like how I give all this stuff for 2 episodes, and the one source you got goes Rob's an R word for thinking that. Maybe
why are you obsessed with that, Rob? Why are you obsessed with that?
Because I give a million things.
Why are you obsessed?
Why are you obsessed? Shit, Johnny.
Yeah.
Like I've pitched stories to editors for these things, the Star Wars specifically, like because I've worked and it's like all this stuff I got to add. The one time I go, look, I don't even think this is true, but one could glean a conspiracy theory. I didn't even agree with it, and it's like, he's an R word for thinking it. Like, all right, well, I mean, if that's you just want to chuck every fucking thing I said, okay, you know, now I know. Now I know who he is in the chat. Like,
I think Chris found the magic way to piss off Rob. Just mention something Rob said like 5 months ago on a show, and he will like obsessively go through every single sentence he said for the past 5 months. It's fine. I went through
how many
40
shows
episodes
have we started,
and I never said
James,
this.
where I've started
and
I have been like, I was totally wrong on this. Let me correct myself.
Everything I said, I went through the notes.
Yeah, I check myself all the time.
We won't see Rob for 5 years. He'll go through everything. Yeah.
No, I could do that in the night, man. I got Google. Food. I don't know what you're talking about.
At night.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, did you get my DM?
Oh no, let me see.
No.
Well, what did he
Alright.
say?
He sent me the photo.
Oh,
It better not be another Dengar photo of your grandma.
Hey, you love it, mate. You love it.
Pictures,
I
Chris in the bounce
still hate
house.
that. Like, I'll never have another girlfriend because of that. I don't trust anybody now. Anybody. I can't trust Chris Spreezy. Jesus Christ. Who can I trust?
you're definitely not a paranoid person.
Hey, what's up?
No, sir.
Oh, really?
Chris, mute yourself before I talk to your mom.
No, it's
There
not.
you go.
She's very cute.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put it up on the screen, okay, Chris?
Yeah.
It's okay to put that up on the screen, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna guess that that the captain's
That's how I
will some
feel
kind
about
of
this
inside
episode.
joke. You know what I mean,
You saw
though?
that symbol?
Yeah, I think it's some kind of inside joke, like we're the department who kept the ship on course or something like that. You know what I mean? And then they put Boba on there.
You don't think he's gonna be captaining the actual ship? Bummer.
I mean, fucking, you never know, dude. But I doubt it.
I'm
Boba
writing
Fett is
that down.
Captain
Chris,
Ahab.
There'd be a
Nor-
captaining action ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space.
He's
But
searching for
I like where your
Mixed
head's at. Like where your head's at, Chris.
Appreciate it.
Gotta gotta.
Yeah, it's just
Make
a
the
little
connections.
slightly off left from center of frame, but it's in a good place.
Yeah.
Look kind of like a UAP to me. But I don't know. Look at a lot of photos on the show.
Also true.
Uh,
Yeah, when I was at the solo premiere, I saw what's her name from Indiana Jones, and I was like, that's a big woman, but I'm pretty into it. And then I was like, that's a little woman, but I'm pretty into it. I was like, Star Wars just does it all. I love
What are
you, Star
talking
Wars.
about? What are you? That's off the rails.
No, it's not off the rails.
There are no rails.
There are no rails.
Well, not on
Mm.
Tatooine trains.
Yeah.
Those things high.
or
They go
or
very
Naboo
fast.
reactor.
No.
Yeah. I have
Even
no
Tatooine
recall.
has gravity trains, but we can't get those in America.
No, and you can't fly with them either. They only go just straight.
Yeah.
No
If you-
turning, nothing.
If you want to go logic, I mean, they have planes, they have vehicles that fly, and they're using trains to go
They have like
across
they
the
have-
desert.
They,
This makes no
they
sense.
have
Time
like a
Time
jet
out.
engine
The
on
logic
top.
police doesn't care.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
They
If we
don't-
logic this thing, we're gonna be here all night.
Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you guys this.
We can hear their lasers, and actually, sir, we can hear their lasers in space. That's not real.
Those aren't lasers because they're plasma bolts. Because if they were lasers, they would travel at the speed of light, and you wouldn't be able to see them. People would just drop dead at the pull of a trigger. You
That's
know.
not a good nerd voice, James.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's well.
Smart. I'm gonna write
I'll
that
turn in
down.
my card. Where's my nerd card?
Good stuff.
we have the we have the Tuscan Raiders here though, and they're all, I don't even know if they're Tuscan Raiders. They're definitely Tuscans. They don't seem like they're a bad people, but at the same time, I remember the pod race, the Boontaine pod race. Those guys were just shooting at kids. They just didn't fucking care, dude. So do you think there's like a Tuscan Bill Cosby who goes around telling them to like pull up their pants and stuff?
Ah,
Is that like a thing in Star Wars?
Could be.
Listen,
You think
all I think
Anakin
about
always-
oh, here we go. Me and Rob. Okay, go ahead, Rob.
So you think Anakin had a deep-seated like resentment? He's like, that's why he killed a kid because they were like, remember all the time you took shots at me?
Like,
Like, you know, like it was just an excuse, the mom thing, but really they had it coming.
They also enslaved his mother and killed her.
Yeah.
Might I add one of 2 or 3 legitimate laughs in the crowd at the Phantom Menace premiere? The Tuscans, like people were like, "Hey, that's fun."
Listen,
That might be the first time I ever experienced member berries in the theater. That one in the Jawa, like that was funny. 2 of them in one sequence. The member berries.
But after 20 years with Phantom Menace, the Kitster Wald High Five. That's where it's at.
all I think about during the
Where they
pod race-
miss.
that's so cute.
All I think about during the pod race is I wish Anakin would have just force pushed Sebulba. I just think
Can't hear you, mate.
it would have added some great content.
We can't hear you, dude. You're like mic just turned all the way down.
Trying to get us to
God's-
lean in.
Is it dead? Is it still dead?
Yeah, ish.
Those
Yeah.
professional mics.
Just ASL at her,
Just Tuscan.
Okay, do it in
So
Tuscan,
he,
yeah.
Rob
Train,
Big
go.
Ears won't
Stop.
shut up about how good it is. It's not that good, Rob.
We
Uh-oh.
offended Johnny. He left the chat.
He said,
The-
"Fuck this shit."
Canadians are sensitive.
Oh,
Well,
James really
Shut up,
hates
James.
Canadians.
What are you gonna do? Punch me with those jazz arms?
Wait,
Wow, now I can
wait,
hear him.
I was going to ask that. Thank you for bringing that up. When did I become a jazz musician? What the
I know
hell?
you're not. I
Jizz
know you're
arms,
not. I
actually.
know you're not. You never learned
Yeah.
music theory.
I don't know music theory. How the hell would I be a jazz?
Exactly.
Star Wars, it's jizz arms.
All right. I'm a
I
jazz
hate to do that
musician.
to you,
Yeah.
dude.
there you go.
Listen,
gotta
Jason
stay-
muted me because I don't know why.
I didn't do anything.
He's sick of me. It was Chris. It's a conspiracy.
No, I mean, the big takeaway, the big question that everyone should have after this episode is: does Darth Maul tattoo his balls? Discuss.
They're red.
James, I love you. You already know that.
Red.
Oh, one of the takeaways from this episode, the Nikto has nards.
Yeah.
Nikto has nards.
Hmm.
The Nikto has nards.
All-
What a
Also,
Oh.
love that movie, but they do drop the F word like 10 minutes in.
Mm.
Sad
Oh,
to
yeah.
say, you know. And,
By the way, Willow sucks. The first 5 minutes sucks, Jason. So whatever.
Yeah, I thought you'd be a hater. It's these millennials.
What is
No,
that?
let's
Like
not-
it's
hey,
like
let's
a
not,
it's
let's
like a
not
baby
bring down
crying.
another series to raise up another. All right.
Where'd he go?
Who's Johnny? I don't know. I'll never see him again. He doesn't exist.
Jason got a signed photo today of all days to
Mhm.
yell that one out.
Thank
Like-
you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right,
thank
I'll
you
let him
for
back.
giving-
Okay, I apologize.
Jason,
Willow's
Let him
the best.
back.
I love it. It's not a baby crying simulator. I love it.
You
yeah, you
definitely. I mean, you got to get to the high.
I gotta
elders.
watch the actual thing. I only watched like 2
Yeah.
minutes of it though.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't-
That's actually a Patreon episode. Is
When-
you
when-
and James watching
Yeah.
me watch Willow at the same time?
That would be
for the
nice.
first time.
Yeah, I'd do that.
And
It gets
Rob
way
there
better when the
fucking
two old women are
Amazon.
fighting over a stick. That's the highlight of the movie.
I know
She does that
Jason
shit.
said that it's basically the sequel trilogy if it was good, and that's what like I went off of, and I was like, this is the beginning of the sequel trilogy. if it was good.
I say a lot of stuff, Johnny. I don't even know why I said that.
I think you just like the movie. You just want me to watch it. I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty
not
good.
that crazy. That's-
It's pretty good.
Rob, you like it though too, right? But you like Batman, like the original Batman. So that's
I didn't like
kind of
Willow.
weird, right?
I told
You
you.
didn't like
I,
Willow?
I said people in fuzzy. I thought Val Kilmer when I first saw him was the best Han Solo-y like character Lucasfilms conjured up. Like I guess
Aw.
he was legitimate.
That's how James got on
but
the
I didn't
show,
care
by
for
the way. He
movie.
sent that to
Wasn't my thing.
Jason.
Hey, whatever it takes, you know.
You are
I
great.
couldn't.
So Rob, I'm listening
I
to
couldn't
you. I'm
get into a
listening to you.
fantasy film until the Lord of the Rings, and even not when I first saw it. It was the extended edition at home. When I watched all the supplementals and then I rewatched, I'm like, oh, I got
That's what she
better
said.
appreciation for this.
I like Lord of the Rings. I actually like it, and I watched the Fellowship the other day. Good film, man. It's good shit, and the orcs look so. Everything looks good. Everything looks good. Every
It's
single thing.
okay.
It
Johnny
holds. No,
Tangent's
it holds
going
up, bro.
off
You guys are
topic.
tripping balls.
Johnny, have you seen
Wait, what?
Clerks 2?
Tripping lizards.
I'm
Have you seen
tripping
Clerks 2,
lizards,
Johnny?
boys.
On topic.
It looks good. Okay. No, I haven't
John-
seen Clerks 2.
Okay, you got to watch Clerks 2, then come back
Oh wait,
to us
is
with
that the
your
one with
review
the
of Lord of the
donkey?
Rings.
Is that the one with the donkey party?
Yes.
Yeah, I have seen that. I watched.
So
it on
you,
pay-per-view,
you,
and I'm
you
like,
heard Randall's review of Lord of the Rings?
No.
The donkey
I
punch.
don't remember. No, it's like a. Then they
need a
like rent a
fictional
they rent a
character to do
donkey
my
and they do
talking
sex stuff
for
with
me.
it. It's weird.
Classic James.
Kelly,
Who's
can be
Johnny?
a guy, too.
Rob, you can speak now. Go ahead.
El DeBarge.
DeBarge.
Yeah, right. Who's Johnny? El
Here's
DeBarge.
Johnny. Miss Murphquake. Here's Johnny, the Weird Al parody about Ed Mc. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a deep cut
Oh,
there, Mr. Murph.
I respect that.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
definitely older than me.
My
Yeah.
Nothing,
My-
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody.
my
looks older than me.
college
I lost
email
him, Jimmy.
was a good donkey show,
Yeah, Rob
and
Brown.
I went into a women's studies class, and we all had to pair up, and they had us write our emails so we could contact. And someone's all, "Who wrote a good donkey show here?" And I was like, "I did." And then the teacher's like, "Are you into donkey shows or something?" Like trying to be funny. I said no, and then this is like, "Why would you have that as your email?" And then I said because it's
Krusty the
funny.
Clown said it once.
And
And then
Funny.
she said, so then she says it again. So what? Are you into fucking donkey shows? And then I just said, "Well,
Was
have
she
you seen the
feeling
girls
you
around
out?
here?"
Was she filling you out? I think she was kind of
I
like,
don't
is
know.
he into this? I might be
Yeah.
into this.
And you're like, do you know how to shoot
You might
tie your
have made
shoelaces?
one of the biggest mistakes of all time by not just telling her you're into all of it.
Yeah, I think it's cultural appropriation. Donkey shows. Yeah, it's
Where does the donkey show come from to be appropriated? What is that?
It's from
James, who are you appropriating from?
the donkey people.
Who is that?
That would be the Bothans.
There's nothing
Who is
good
that?
to confirm this
have
conversation.
you ever seen the donkey
No.
person in
Ray
Red
Mike
Dead?
Star Wars. The Bothans are clearly donkey people.
Many
Have you heard of the
paths
donkey
laid out
lady?
before us? None of them.
Many paths.
Yeah.
In Red
I
Dead.
can't even answer
Rob
that.
just
I'm
can't stop
canceled.
thinking about Crayola right now.
I'm trying to think about Crayola.
Uh,
But man, I don't know. I don't know.
See, I was right.
Huh?
I said Eldebarge.
Very good. Yeah.
That's when Steve Gutenberg refused to show up to the video, so they just printed out his face and everyone wore it.
Steve
in
Gutenberg.
the music
Guten-
video.
Murph,
Yeah, he
Quake,
would
you're,
show up in the music
Gutenberg.
Murph,
video.
Quake, you're wrong. John 5's still alive, and James sent me a video of him the other day. I said it was boring, but he's a great guitar player. Right? That's who that is, right, James?
Yeah, Johnny Five. Yeah,
Johnny Five,
John
yeah.
Five.
No,
yeah.
interesting guitar player. Cool shit, creative shit. Like it. I was just trolling you, James. That's it.
Yeah. I was like, damn. You're like, oh, it's boring. I was
No,
like,
I know. I just like to bother you a little bit. I like to poke the bear.
I went to Jason. I was like, this thing is just boring.
So what is it? I don't know how you argue with the care being invested into creating his rebirth.
What?
With
Did I read that wrong?
Yeah, no, you read it right. Yeah, I think honestly, if I had anything to critique about Boba Fett's rebirth, if you will, it's that they're kind of like doing two like they're one, but it's not really necessarily like how it works. It's almost like he comes out of the Sarlacc reborn from the belly of the well, but then he goes on that shamanistic kind of thing right there and kind of has so I guess it's all part of a process, and I'm used to it being more simple and stupid. I don't know.
It's the Last Samurai. It's Dances with Wolves, but the problem is they didn't set up usually those set up, here's this guy who's complete shithead, comes from this other culture, and now he's going to be ingratiated into this new culture and have a rebirth. But you're going straight to rebirth in this. So, they need to do a better job setting up who he was prior to going into that Sarlacc pit then, instead of just like he was this guy that kind of, said two lines in Empire and Jedi and then he went out like a punk bitch.
Yeah.
That's not character development.
And Johnny spam in the chat right now, boys.
Oh no.
I like Johnny Too Bad in the Strikeouts. That's your band name right there.
Jedi Mike, don't put the Matrix 4 on anybody. All right? Nobody
Don't do
deserves
it.
that.
Don't do it.
So,
Little
yeah.
known fact, though, the creator of Johnny Five actually worked on Strange Brew and
Mhm.
was a robotic supervisor on Moonwalker.
Johnny
Yeah,
Five is one
strange.
person, isn't it?
Allard, Eric, I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah.
That's pretty
Still
cool.
working
Yeah.
on visual effects to this day.
Got bills.
Out there kicking.
We all got bills. I get it.
Got that Johnny Five alimony.
Now that's a movie that Johnny needs to watch, is Strange Brew. We need a Canadian's perspective on Strange Brew.
Oh, they watch it every Christmas, I think. I think it's like a holiday there.
It's like A Wonderful Life there. They just run on loop all day.
What was that
call it-
movie about?
They call it
Strange Brew?
Boxing Day.
Sorry.
I think so. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, we had Boxing
We
Day
good?
here too.
You do right.
Yeah, Boxing
We
Day in
hit the
Australia,
top end
Chris.
of this.
Yeah, mate. 26th of December.
We are fellow Commonwealth brothers.
We are. Yeah, we are.
We are. We like the Queen. By the way, I just want to say for everybody out here that the monarchy, fuck the Queen.
Whoa, taking a stance.
Like, yeah, fuck the monarchy. I don't have any.
Johnny stays up late enough. It's a party.
I'm-
That's for certain.
I'm gonna blame Murphquake for this one right here for the Johnny Rotten drop. I'm gonna say it's the John Lydon drop. It brings something out of guys named Johnny. They can't help it. And
If we got
Murphquake,
General Striker, we need
Don't do that
Johnny
again.
Switchblade. Like,
Mhm.
I think it's fair. And I'm a-hole R-word. That's my robot name now.
Jedi Mike, how
just
many
a
brain
machine
cells
with
did you
shitty
come here with?
opinions. Speaking of machines with the Matt Berry droid also today, standing tall, right?
Mm.
Loved it. Like he has like
Yeah.
that wobble, that weird robot wobble. I like it.
108 Brithos, nice.
Yeah, JP says I would argue that these early arcs are simply being used to show his different ruling style.
Sure. What was his ruling style before?
Well,
it
no,
changed. I used to do something.
different from Jabba the Hutt and different
Yeah.
from what the Tatooine denizens are expecting. I think is probably
Fair.
I think, but also I think the fair retort is, who cares? You know, the reply. I mean, maybe it will matter. I don't know, but I think I feel like ultimately there will be some significance put there. Like I said, like the New Republic doesn't come in and assassinate him right then because of that or something like that.
Well, I feel like the Tuscans are going to have like an Ewok moment at like episode 7, where all of a sudden they just pop out of nowhere and like bail his ass out of a jam.
That could happen.
Yeah.
I want the Hutts to sing together. I want them to sing like a harmony.
Very baritone.
All right. Well, let me ask you guys this, because these are the kind of dumb questions that are going to come into my brain over the next 24 hours. How are they going to kill him? You got 2. How do you take him out in a fun way? Do you thermal detonator him? Do they double? I hope they don't do the double choke. I don't want to see the double choke.
Kick him in the stomach.
Kick him in the stomach.
Yeah.
It's not pregnant.
I don't know.
So I like that.
What are we talking about killing
full
right
circle.
now, Rob?
How to kill them?
Yeah. How do you kill the? And Murph is asking if they're conjoined. I question that too. I don't think so, but they could be.
I don't think so.
But yeah, I mean, any ideas? I mean, how are they gonna go out? Because
Blow them up.
Wonka's factory, they'll kill themselves.
Jason, if somebody has a
Same time.
seizure from your background, what do they sue you or not?
they don't live to tell anybody. It doesn't matter. But
I like
yeah,
Striker.
no, but I mean, it is Disney. They are okay with choking out the Kraken. You were able to choke out
They
a
already
Kraken,
did
so
that. You can't do
Chris
it
got the
twice.
gun show out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's like 40 degrees here in Australia. It's so hot.
it was also done by Carrie Fisher in a bikini, and you can't do that anymore. So we can't. They're shit off limits.
How about
Chris
how
is
about
greasy.
bro?
Greaser.
Pull them back up. What are
Chris
you
is
doing?
a greaser, man.
This guy.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
so
Here,
Travolta
but-
over here.
Dude,
What's
it's
going
like-
on, buddy?
He's
Hey,
42
hopefully my
degrees.
girlfriend's
Pony
out of the room.
boy
What's
in it,
going on
man.
here?
That's
Hey, yeah,
awesome.
hey.
It's summer in Australia, mate. It's hot. It's hot. All right, I'm gonna put my.
Yeah,
How
it's like
about
5 degrees here.
That's why my bicep is in the center of the frame. It's
Ugh.
hot out here.
it's hot? What do you want me to do? Jason, how about if the Hutts are after Han Solo, and Solo and Boba team up and take him down? I reckon that's a great episode 7, chapter 7. I think it's a great chapter 7, to be honest with you.
Yeah, in a strange way, you bring up a really good point in that if the Hutts did have beef with the Skywalkers, that does probably put Boba Fett and the Skywalkers against the same enemy.
I think
Do
they would
people-
die ironically. I think they would like die either like they get fed to a Sarlacc or a Rancor eats them. I think
Yeah.
that's the way they'll go.
Do
But wouldn't it be
people even
cool?
know who Luke
Wouldn't it
is?
be cool, like Han and Boba working together to take him down? I reckon that'll be pretty badass.
Yeah.
No, how do people know who Luke is? Like, do people even know that? Like, when
Yes.
does that become public consciousness? Like, when is that a thing?
After Return of the Jedi,
That is just then it's like okay.
it's out there. Yeah, it's out there.
Do you think that Boba knows that Han was the one that knocked him into the or whatever? Knocked his jetpack.
It's one of like 3 people.
That's actually a really good point, Max. It actually,
Because he wasn't even looking at him. He was looking
and there was nobody to tell him that happened.
Yeah.
If he didn't even see it, yeah, he might think he knows it's them, but he might not know who.
That is it is a good point, but like after seeing what we've seen in terms of character development for Boba now after these 2 episodes, I just
Mhm.
don't think that I see that I gotta kill Jedi in him anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't. That ultimately doesn't really go very far.
Or
I mean,
or the I need to kill Han Solo thing. I don't see that anymore. That's been wiped away.
I mean, a ton of people have done a lot worse to him in throughout this series already than what Han Solo did to him. So if he just goes around having like the most heavy-handed vendettas against people, I'm sure there's a long ass line of people he would have to deal with.
And also, I want to make this point about his dad being killed by Mace Windu. I'm sure there are people who had some nasty fucking plans to kill his dad, Django, that never went through, but are much worse and more insidious than Mace Windu just showing up and like kind of like consequentially for him killing his dad kind of in that way.
But I kind of think that if you do it, what you do is you set up Boba where he seems balanced. He seems like he's doing exactly what he should be doing. He has everything figured out. And now there's this old thing that's like, oh, he's alive. I'm going to go after him. That's not part of the plan. That doesn't fit into what he should be doing. And I think that's how it'll be used personally.
Really? I mean, what with Mace Windu?
With Mace Windu, yeah. What you do
I just
is
don't understand how you explain what he's been doing the entire time. Like, I'm sick of the Jedi. I'm not into the Force anymore. Okay.
no,
What have you been doing? Like, I don't-
no. There's actually. I mean, there's a. I mean, you could literally tell any
but
story you
no,
want
hold
with him.
I know, but he was hit out of a
But
window.
James,
Anakin and Obi-Wan fell out of a window one time. They jumped onto a car. Didn't you guys see that? Like, first of all, how many cars are around the Supreme Chancellor of the Galaxy?
Dude, Anakin falls down and grabs on to
But
stuff.
what happened? Yeah, but what happened to Anakin
He's a
when he got
Padawan.
hit when he got hit as a Padawan by Force lightning? He was out for like fucking 5 minutes.
That's because he's a
Like,
bitch.
Yeah,
Mace
but
Windu's not a bitch.
I'm not buying getting your.
Excuse me, sir. Are you calling Mace Windu a bitch on
No,
this
I'm
show?
saying that he's just dead, and then he should stay dead. It's a dumb idea.
What if he landed on a marshmallow
Just
truck?
like Mace Windu, like just like Sheev coming back.
don't
It's a
bring up
dumb idea.
Ghostbusters right now. James.
At this point, I don't disagree with the
I'm honestly
concept that
so upset about that.
that people should die. Like if somebody dies,
How many
it
people
robs-
died off screen? I don't want to hear the precedents.
But
Anakin
Johnny,
jumped out of a window.
Johnny.
Obi-Wan jumped out of a window. Look at all the people that died off screen in all these other movies. Like, oh my
Oh.
god, like Kia
Yeah,
Mike.
but-
Everyone else died who got way less. Mace Windu got less than they got, and he's supposed to be dead. Actually, at this point, I have a harder time believing Mace Windu is dead because Darth Maul got cut in half. Oh, he's fine. Don't worry, he's a Spider-Man now. He's Spider-Man. He's cool.
Fell a really long way.
But that happened in canon, yes. But
In
that's
half.
also a shit idea.
He
Him
fall
being
into
alive after and
But
then
it
his
happened,
the
Johnny.
lower
It
half of his
happened.
body is
Yeah.
mechanical.
It
Like no,
happened.
I know it happened, but it's still a dumb idea that it happened. It's stupid, and
That's a cool
that's not
story
precedence
still.
to then
I'll allow
make
it.
more dumb ideas. That's
Boba
not-
Fett got
I don't
covered
know.
in pussy mucus for
Maul
like
coming
we don't
back
know.
is
Well,
Maul
now-
coming back is
well.
dumb, and that's not precedence for then fucking Mace Windu coming back. They're both dumb ideas. The guy
But
got
see-
shot. Maul got chopped in half. Oh, he was mad. He used the dark side of the Force to stay alive, and then he fucking used it to like remake himself with like mechanical parts. All right, cool, great idea, cool.
Well, there's actually a
But-
pillow factory underneath the Chancellor's office.
Yeah,
I believe we
So,
can test this in
yeah.
Kerbal space program though. We can build a Mace
Yeah,
Windu
fuck off,
and
fuck
then
off,
cut his
fuck
hand
off.
and electrocute him and throw him. And I'm certain
just
in
so
Kerbal space
ridiculously
program we'll be
dumb.
able to find out.
Say, hey, but it's for kids. It's for kids though. Kids aren't gonna notice. It's for kids. Star Wars is for kids, right? So that's it.
Yeah, I
Hey, you can make these stupid ideas that are obviously dumb, and that's fine.
Well, the dumb thing would be Mace would be like 85 or something, and like
Yeah, but that is what the story is, James. He is old. He's been doing nothing
Yeah.
for like 20 years. What are
he'd
you
be
talking
85 years old by the time Book of Boba comes
about?
around.
What is he
something like
doing?
that. It's
Sitting
like,
around. Hey,
dude,
what have
you
you been
fucking
doing? Oh, I killed James.
James,
It was a long
James.
time ago. Like, what? Are you...
number one, what you do is you never address the age directly. You give him a sweet white beard like that dude from the end of the Neverending Story at the castle with the Empress. Fucking set, dude.
Oh my God, like.
Give him a little Fu Manchu, little gray one right there. Yeah. So what? He's fucking old. Maybe at the end of the day, it ends up actually being. I mean, at the end of the day, it was just his death was just he was just simply we need to kill a Jedi, and Anakin has to do this bad thing, and we need one of them to do it. It can't be Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it can't be Yoda, and well, who else is there? You know, you got your Ki-Adi-Mundi, you got your Plo Koon, you know what I mean. You don't really have that many.
Proof.
Yeah, and then so it's like it's a pretty obvious choice.
Mundi died off screen. We didn't see how many.
This we saw him die on screen. You
listen.
God.
It
We
was alright.
actually didn't see the exact number of people that shot at him. He could have deflected all those.
He died on the Ash planet.
Yeah, well, we thought it was the grassy knoll. Turned out to be the glassy
did.
knoll. It was a whole thing. It was a second. It was a second Force user. You know, it's contested.
Well, that was something that Lucas brought up in the Paul Duncan book, is that in his sequel outlines, there was something like 50 to 100 Jedi still running around after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Are they going to go with that?
Yeah, thanks for the help, guys.
Yeah, they are. I think they definitely are. They're just not going to go out and tell us,
Yeah.
and we're just going to see it slowly evolve as they make Star Wars Rebels, and then they have the
Listen here,
Jedi.
people. No, listen here. Everyone knows Mace Windu is part Trandoshan. He's a lizard person. When his hand grew, it actually grew another Mace Windu. There's two Mace Windows. They are known as the twin badass sons of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Part
It's like
lizard. One has lizard hand
Actually, they have a
with
purple
black
and a yellow
man. The other
lightsaber, and
one's
they signify
lizard
the binary
man
between the
with
two
black
Jedi
hand.
and the dark and the light.
Oh my gosh.
That's true. We know this. This is common
I
knowledge.
just get triggered
It's common.
sometimes about Mace Windu.
He's like Ash
I
from
don't know.
Army of Darkness. He just splits off into a bunch of
Listen,
little
James, you're on
Windows.
real thin ice,
Okay, if-
buddy, with that Qui-Gon Jinn idea. So
Project Force Woods is a known thing that has been out there. It's out there. Go do the research.
So anyway, that
Yeah, we're selling
Sort
Blue
of.
Harvest Chew. If you need to know, Blue Harvest Chew. Get your rock on.
What was that, Chris?
I was saying, so anyway, the leak from last year, the early one, how we said we're getting a Hammerhead guy and the two Gamoran guards, that seems to be true. It
Mhm.
also said that we're going to get a Mando battle against Boba. I don't see. Do you think that's still happening, Jason, or is that being saved for Mando season 3?
No, I'm going to assume that it just assassins will be coming for him now.
Assassins, no
And
Mando.
some Mandos are hired probably, and that's probably why we see those ones. That's just a guess, though.
But the 50 Mandos will be for
Larson.
season 3.
The 50 to 75 Mandos thing is a Mandalorian season 3
Chris Evans.
thing. Yeah,
Brandon Routh.
that's all of this stuff I'm talking about is filming now. This stuff was all filmed
Yeah.
a year and a half ago now, something like that. But whatever. Yeah,
Love that
Yeah.
Trandoshan hate that Boba got too. By the way, all the side eye. Love
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
yeah,
That was good.
they've done too many Trandoshan faces to Nazi Bosk.
They were like
Too
this.
much time into that face.
It was great.
Well, we still haven't seen that
It looked
meeting.
weird,
yet.
but whatever.
We still haven't seen that meeting that we've seen in the trailer. How they're all at the table.
Yeah.
That obviously is the next.
Oh, we're
chapter.
gonna go over bingo tomorrow, right? Right? We're gonna go over bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, bingo
Oh,
tomorrow.
Star Wars
Yeah.
Santa.
Yeah. Chris, did you do bingo?
Bingo.
Yeah, Star Wars Santa bingo for episode 2. There's
No.
like a list of 20 questions we went through. That'd be great. Get all your guys' bingo takes
Yeah.
before episode 3. next
Mine will all
We
just
all
be
gotta
no,
do the
no,
bingo.
No,
Matt
no.
gotta do the
No.
bingo.
Let me
Johnny's
know.
gotta do the bingo. Chris gotta do the bingo.
Can I get my guns out?
That'd be good. When are you gonna
Huh?
go over that though? Probably what, Friday,
Bro.
Jason?
What?
Go over that on Friday, right? Maybe Friday.
Every
show.
week you can do that. Like I'm telling you right now, that is the look for. I love it. I wish I can't. I'm white, so like it's just sad. It's just bad.
What are you
tans.
talking about? Oh, the bicep.
Yeah, if you think my
The bicep?
fingers look bad, you should see my arms.
Yeah, but
40
You have-
degrees, like 100 and something for you guys. We have different temperature scales. We do 40 degrees. So you got like 100 when it's hot, something like that, right? When it's hot for you guys, is it like 100 degrees or something?
No, like
we
80
don't
or
use
90
that-
degrees
We don't
is
use that
hot.
space.
Yeah,
space
we
shit.
we use the other
it's
one down under.
35. It's 35 when it's hot in
Celsius?
Canada.
Yeah, we use Celsius. Yes, so it's like 37 degrees right now. It's like boiling.
I don't even
That's
want
hot
to
as fuck. If anybody doesn't know, 37. That's some hot shit.
Yeah,
all at once too.
You don't even have to do your hair, right, Chris? You probably put a little bit in, and then like the next couple days you get that build up and it's nice. You know what I mean?
Look, I appreciate that, Johnny. Thank you.
Oh, your hair's great. Got great hair.
Appreciate it. So do you.
What the heck? Hey, you know,
We
do my
done?
best.
I can't top that. I got nowhere. I can't.
Rob's being super nice today. He's saying I've got nice guns. Where's all this love coming from, mate?
When have I ever complained about it? I'm the one who was like, he had to pay $100 for shipping. This is fucking. You should. They should, and they did. They gave you the free figure and gave you back your shipping. So they listened to me.
Thank you, Rob.
I gave you $100.
I appreciate it.
Remember that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, anyways, we will. I'm going to be back on tomorrow. Rob, are you going to be on tomorrow afternoon?
Oh yes.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
yes.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it again, and then I'll come on here and then share my next day thoughts. And anybody else wants to come here, by all means, I'll send you the link tomorrow. Just let me know. Does anybody else have anything else they want to say before we say goodnight to everyone and go to sleep like normal people? Because this is very normal.
Don't forget to pray before you go to bed, Jason. God needs you.
Please, God, let Mace Windu be alive and let him just say, "Fuck you, Johnny. I'm Mace Windu. I'm the best." Amen. So, I do have to say though, it's just one last thing, Johnny. I just gotta keep going because I don't know when to stop, Johnny.
About what?
When you have the theme of the story being like, oh, we're all these people who died and are back to life between Fennec and Boba and all that, Mace coming at the end makes sense, man.
No,
it makes sense.
It's something a 12-year-old would be like, oh my God, look at this great idea I have.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, what about it? What about it? 12-year-old.
I don't like
how
it.
I write stories. That's how I done it. That's how we do it in Modesto.
I don't know what happened.
What if it's Mace's son? Dun, dun, dun.
Lando is
Plot
his son.
twist.
What are you talking about?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that would be dope.
No, well, look, the missed opportunity is for Finn to not be the grandkid of Mace Windu. That's the missed opportunity to tie the.
So wait, are you suggesting?
Good.
no, you guys have to understand. Rob is suggesting that it may be Finn goes into the world between worlds, and he is Mace Windu's dad.
Nice.
I don't even know what the world between worlds is, guy. I don't watch the cartoons.
How do you know it's
I
in
have
cartoons?
to now. But,
Yeah.
The king of cartoons told me so, Max. It's the king of cartoons. And I was like, I'm turning it off. But now I gotta watch it. So
Donut operator snitches up. What is like JJ Metal? What are you talking about?
But all right, guys. Max, you have anything to say before we go?
Good night.
Good night.
Watch fired.
Watch Female Trouble.
Right.
Yes.
I can do all right. I'm fired. Earthquake.
Rob.
It's like these backgrounds don't make themselves.
Rob, never forget.
You know
I want you to.
I don't just find this shit on the internet.
Rob,
what I mean?
never forget one thing. You are the R word, and that's what somebody said to you. Never forget that.
Karaoke.
Never forget that.
Thanks, Mom.
It's not my words, but
Love you. Appreciate it. Always been there for me.
All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let us know in the comments and stuff like that if you catch us on the replay and you have things to say, and we'll cover it on the next show. So if you leave comments, we definitely see them and definitely answer them in the upcoming show. And oh yeah, and me and Johnny did a little Patreon thing. I put the Patreon thing out for channel members and for Patreon supporters. A link to it. So if you're a Patreon supporter of the show,
content, baby, let's go. It's so good.
Love
You
green
have to
Jello
watch
/
it.
jelly.
You have to watch it. You have to watch the Patreon stuff. If you're not watching the Patreon stuff, you're literally missing out. Literally missing out.
yeah, all of the.
Uh-oh.
He's gone. There we go. I'm in front of the, now I own the show. So now we're in trouble.
Actually, I'm in the lead. So.
And with that, it just said, you know what? I'm gonna kick this guy off the internet. I'm gonna stop him before he goes too far. Melon is a piece of shit. Anyways, I'm just gonna call it a show here because it's not even letting me put people back in now. So good thing
I
we're
just want
done.
to say I'm actually looking forward to rewatching the episode tomorrow with Dwight. So
Yeah.
I'm actually excited this time. Doesn't feel like a chore. So fantastic episode. We'll have more to say about it later. So bad.
Yeah.
Badass.
And sorry to everybody on the panel who just got thrown out. I really can't control it. It just does what it wants.
It's not about spaceships.
Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show. Making Star Wars Show.
It's not about spaceships.
Got kicked off.
Yeah.
It's for being
Melon?
mouthy.
Melon just does